How does this even happen where the Houston Rockets owner, who just bought the Houston Rockets,
Tillman Fertitta.
Tillman Fertitta.
Yeah.
How does this get? Because he owns what, 50% or?
Yes, he is our 50% partner in our entire hospitality company.
Okay, which is Catch and
all the restaurants.
All the restaurants.
Yes.
How does? And let me say it the way I say it. How the fuck does that even happen?
It happens as simple as most things in life. He walked in the front door of the restaurant.
So you didn't invite him?
I did not know him personally. I absolutely knew of him, and there's probably 3 people who are the pinnacle of restaurant operators in this country, and he is one of them. And Steve Hansen, who I worked for, was one. Tillman Fertitta is, to my knowledge, the biggest private operator of all restaurants in America. And my friend made a reservation for him at the restaurant, and he was sitting having dinner with a couple of coworkers, and I went up and I introduced myself, and I brought it back to 2005 when I was just a guy shaking the hand of every single person I ever met to try to get them to come to the club downstairs. And you stick your hand out and you let them know who you are, and that was it. I had a conversation with him. Obviously, he's interested because he's in the business.
Sure.
So he's the most successful people I've ever met are always curious about the other person, and him, I remember specifically going out of his way to ask me a lot of questions about my business, about myself personally, and obviously because of who he was, I was excited to answer all of them. So I didn't have like an agenda with him specifically at that time, but all I knew is like wherever I've been, I always wanted to know who the baddest dude in the room was, and I always wanted to figure out how I can get to them and how I could get to meet them, because I only learn by speaking with people. I don't learn any other way. So I stuck my hand out. I wanted to connect with him. He was kind enough to give me his card, and I stayed on him. I stayed on him, and I wanted to make sure, I wanted to invite him back to try the rest of the menu, because obviously he could only eat a small amount of it. And I brought it back, and then I said, hey, I want to visit you in Houston. And, he was kind of like, well, sure. And he's like, but any guy who has 400 plus restaurants, I wanted to see, what does that mean? Just like you say, how the fuck do you do that? I wanted to see how the fuck does this guy operate 400 restaurants? 400, all different levels. I'm talking like super, super premium Mastros to some more low-end concepts like Bill's Burger.
Sure.
And he said yes. I called Mark, who was in LA. I said, hey, let's go get on a plane tomorrow. We're going to Houston. He has time for us. And we spent the day with him in Houston. At the time, we were raising money for Catch Los Angeles. We asked him to invest. At the time, he said, I don't really invest in restaurants, but let's see how you guys do in LA. And we opened up Los Angeles, and it was a massive success, and it was a success on many levels. We were able to open successfully financially. Mm-hmm. So we got in on budget. We got in on time. We were able to hit all of our P&Ls. And then on the other side, which was the PR side in Los Angeles, we really hit it. We really hit all the people that needed to be there were there for the first year every single day. And then, I reached out to him again. I said, hey, when are you in New York again? He came in New York, and he looks at me and he goes, I want to be part of this. And he was really excited that we were able to prove ourselves on both coasts, because we were coming off some L's, right?
Sure.
We had some serious losses. So we weren't like living in the dream. We were just like, hey, we need to make this one restaurant work. Our entire future depends on Catch Los Angeles. We just had to close 4 places. Our card says Catch and Lexington Brass, and that's it. And we needed to make sure that this opening was the real deal. And we put all of our effort on it, and it was successful. And because of that success, on June 10th, Mark and my birthdays, we closed the deal, and Tillman became a 50% partner, which, by the way, he's never owned 50% of anything. He always buys things out 100%. But he was super interested in how we operate, because that's what smart people do. They see people who operate differently. They see the next generation, and he wanted to be part of that. So it's been an awesome ride.